This is Shin Tian. I'd like to welcome her. And she's the real leader of Indonesia group. And the man's taking all the credit as usual. So, but she keeps the group together. We just had a beautiful talk there in the second biggest city, Surabaya. And it's amazing. And I like it because they have Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Chinese, Indonesians, native people. I like it. And she's the cheerleader. She gets them going. They had a Starbucks conference that I enjoyed. And you're amazing. And I hope you both keep going. Okay. So this is Sugang's text. This is about dependent origination, the 12 links, ancient teaching by Lord Buddha. And it's what school?
Lower middle.
Yeah, lower middle way. So it will have a few strange ideas that are not higher middle way. And the reason we study lower ideas is that they come up in people's minds. They don't quite understand the pen. They think part of the pen is out there and part of the pen's coming from me. This is the lower middle way. Okay, that's their basic problem. You know, if you ask them, is the pen coming from you? They say yes. And then if you say, well, what about the stick when it's on the chair? Is that coming from you? And they say, no, that's there. So that's their basic problem, lower middle way. Okay. So in the beginning of his book, instead of just going through the 12 links of the Wheel of Life one by one, they get into the first link. They dive into the first link. And it's kind of unfair. And it's a Buddhist custom. You start to debate something before you've learned it. So it should be, I mean, in a Western book, you would have the whole presentation first and then you would have questions about it. But in a Buddhist book, the questions come first and you learn by getting confused. So we've been very successful so far. And we're in the middle of link number 1. And normally these books, like Vasubandhu's commentary, which is exquisite, which is maybe your next goal in your next life, half the book is on the first link, you know, and the other links are easier. He's also working on that a lot because we're planning a seminar, and possibly every year, I don't know, in Indonesia at a place called Borobudur, where the Wheel of Life story is carved into a mountain. Okay, so here we go. Kachik kansaki dangjin yina jikta yinbi kya serna. So that serna, the Z, by the way, is just a low tone S, right? It's not Z. So some people think it is, it's not. Serna means if you say that. So a debate is always introduced by serna. Whatever's coming before serna is a controversial statement. Somebody comes up and says the sky is green. And then that's how you start an argument. It's just like in your family. Somebody comes out and says something like, let's go on a vacation to Hawaii even though we don't have any money. And then they start a controversy this way. So serna is always if you say, okay? Kyap, the word kyap, just before serna, is a sign that the argument is going to take the form of a statement that if something is A, it must be B. Kyap means if something is A, it must be B. Kyap means cover. And it means, you know, if it's a computer, it must be, you know, if it's a Mac, it must be a computer. Okay? So, you know, the either a subset or an equal set. Either one. That's kyap. Okay? So if something is this, it must be that. Now, because it says serna, we know it's wrong. Okay? So luckily, we already know it's going to be wrong. What's he say? He says, if something is kansaki dangjin, dangjin means the tendency to hold or to believe in a self-nature. Okay? Now I would call it self-nature because in English, we don't call self normally to things. But dak, which is atma in Sanskrit, badak, does mean self-nature. Okay? Sometimes when I'm feeling radical and I had a couple of coffees, I'll call it the thing is itself. Okay, is a pen itself. That's Atman. That's Dak. Okay, so dangzin yuna, there's two kinds of dangzin, which are quick.
People and things.
Yeah, people and things, and sometimes the things is defined as
The parts.
the parts of the person, the parts of the person. Okay, so it's not just things in general. Otherwise, it would be a confusing division because Kansak is also a thing. So there's two kinds of wrong feelings about things. That it's coming this way. It exists this way. There's two kinds. One is about people, and one is about things. But in that division, things means normally the parts of the person. So, do I think the top of the pen is coming from itself? And do I think that the pen is coming from itself? You see what I mean? Is Sugang coming from himself? Or is Sugang's face is coming from itself? So one we would call holding to the self of a person, and the other way we call holding the self of things, but meaning parts of Sugang. Okay. So he says, if it's the tendency to believe that a person is themselves, okay, then it must be jikta. Now, jik means to destroy. Dawa means a viewpoint. And it's called the view of destruction. And classically, the first link of the wheel of life is not just general ignorance, it's jikta. Okay, and roughly, okay, not precisely, jikta is defined as a misunderstanding of me and mine. Okay, so if we're talking about Sugang's jikta, Sugang's ignorance, misunderstanding, first link, it's always aimed at you. Okay, so now this person, his debate is every kind of wrong idea about a person is jikta, meaning every kind of wrong idea about a person must be focused on me or mine. And it's always wrong, okay? So you can relax already. Okay. There's some problem there. It's not correct. Somehow it's incorrect, okay? And you don't have to understand why, because that's what the book's about. Okay, so here goes the book. Now, we're going to start with a counterexample. If you say every drink in the world is coffee, then I can say, oh, let's take this one. You know, this is a counterexample. And you take it sarcastically. You know, you're like, oh, let's take this one. Must be coffee, huh? Okay, so what's coming next is his counterexample. It's something that doesn't fit what he said. Okay, it's something that proves what he said is wrong. Okay, so here we go. Sejin in Sanskrit? Devadatta. Good. Now, when you're debating in English, you might say John Smith or John Doe. It's just a generic name. They're just like Joe or John or, I don't know, Kiki. You know, you just take anybody. Oh, okay. Take anybody. So the classic one in Buddhism is you take Devadatta. Now that happens to be the mean cousin of the Buddha, half brother. Anyway, Sejin Ki Gyu means means in his mind. Okay, Gyu means tantra. The Sanskrit is tantra, but it means stream. So tantra can mean stream. So Gyu tantra can also mean mental stream. Okay, in the mind, but with an emphasis on streamness. Okay, as opposed to chitta, which is mind as a clunk, as a hunk. So Gyu means kind of over time. Okay, so let's take in the mind of Sejin, of Devadatta. Let's go to Chuchen. Chuchen means let's take. Chuchen is always, let's take as an example. And how do you phrase it in Tibetan? When you're in a debate. No, in the Tibetan language, how do you? Yeah, you draw out the ch. You go ba-da-da-da chuchen. It means come on. Here's my counterexample. But the word counterexample comes at the end. So chuchen. Okay, chuchen. Tokpa, okay, ratok, okay, at the end here, R-T-O-G, is a word that means what?
Potentially wrong or suspicious.
Yeah, it can mean a wrong idea. Okay, misperception. Okay. What's the problem with this word?
It also has a homonym.
Yeah, there's a word of the same sound. If you add an S to it, it means a very correct perception. So when you're in a debate and the guy says topa, you gotta say which one, okay? Because it sounds the same. The suffix letter is silent. So this topa means fantasy, wrong idea. Oh, my wife has a topa that I don't like chicken because I wasn't hungry. You know, it is a wrong idea. It's not a correct idea. Okay, his topa, which holds zin, that chujin is another. It's like John or Joe. Okay, Heijin means Devadatta. Chujin is, what is that in Sanskrit? Somebody gotta look it up for me. No, that's it's CHOS.
Where is
It's something like Yajna or.
it?
Could be. Let's look it up. Okay. Who can do it the fastest? No, not me. Lokesh Chandra, great dictionary. Here we go. Where is it? Yeah, that sounds good. That's not a good example. Where is it? Down here. Yeah, here's the choices. I would take.
Yajurveda?
I don't know. I usually take the one that has the most references behind it. How about Yajna? Okay. By the way, here's Veda, Rikje. There's a Veda called Yajur, which is also the same word. Okay, so I would call it Yajna. Okay, this one here is to go. Yajn nya. But when we write it in a book, because foreigners can't use this tilde, we just say yajna. Yajna. Okay. Okay. So I think we're going to go with yajna. I think I remember it's yajna. Here's another example of it. Yajna svara. This is a great dictionary that people. He's typing in books like this. And because of him, we have these books. So you should give him another hand. And you should thank your people for it. Yeah, they're working very hard. I'm sure they're working while he's here. They're probably having a tsitsi shimi mebe losa.
And then the cat's away, the mouse.
Yeah, tsitsi means mouse. Tsitsi means mouse. Shimi means cat. Meba means not there. Losar means holiday. It's a famous tampe. Tampes are good ways to learn Tibetan. They are sayings. You know, when the cat's away, the mice will play. He's in America. Okay. So, Devadatta's looking at yajna, okay? And he has this wrong idea, which holds that rangya tupidzeya. Rangya tupa? Rangya tupa? Tupa. Rangya tupa. Self-standing. Self-standing. Zeya. Yeah, substantial. Self-standing and substantial. These are basic ways of believing something is coming from its own side. So in the lower schools, this is how they explain it. Oh, it stands by itself. Doesn't need a cause, doesn't need a support. It comes up by itself. Okay, like a weed grew in my garden. I didn't do anything. It just grew. Okay, and zeya substantial means, I don't know. Exists in and of itself or something. Okay, each school has a different idea about what is zeya, what does substantial mean. Okay, anyway, we're talking about a basic kind of self-existence that even the lower schools agree to. Oh, this thing is self-existing. No causes, no support. Doesn't depend on me. You see, anti-dependent origination. Zeya means substantial. It has real essence of its own. It's not depending on my perception. It has its own it's a pen. Inside is a pen. Inside the aspirin is an aspirin. It doesn't depend on me. Okay, every aspirant should work the same because they're substantial. Okay, so yeah, zeyu. Ze means substance. It's related to the word za, which is related to the second link of the wheel of life.
Oh, okay.
Because the person in the second link is a zaken,
Substance maker?
doer, er. Yeah,
Master.
potter.
Potter.
So za means clay. It means stuff, real stuff, substantial. Dirt, the most substantial thing in the world. Dirt, you know. So yeah, RDZA. Add an S and it becomes the word for substance.
Oh,
Ze. Okay, but za means
clay.
clump of dirt. The most basic concrete in English. Concrete, okay? So he says this guy is concrete and this guy is self-standing. Okay? Now, somebody, maybe Ben Kramer, maybe Nick, tell me what's the implication if he used it as a counterexample. It is blah, but it's not blah. Joe is holding, John believes that John's idea that Joe is self-standing and concrete, how does it fit into what the guy started out with?
Somehow it's
It's a wrong idea.
not going to be jigsaw.
It's counter-
Good.
Not to be?
It is Kanzaki Dangten. It does hold to the self-existence of a person, but it's not jikta. It's not the first link of the wheel of life. Okay, so misunderstanding is not precise. It's a certain kind of misunderstanding. The blind man with the stick is not just any kind of misunderstanding, and it's not even just misunderstanding things. It's a special kind of misunderstanding. It's jikta, which is always aimed at me or mine. Me or mine. Nga da nga yi war zimbe jikta. Say nga dang. Nga yi war. Zimbe jikta. Holds to me and mine. Okay. All through the night, I'm in mine, I'm in mine, I'm in mine. There's a Beatles song about jikta. All day we sing, I'm in mine, I'm in mine, I'm in mine. Okay, so are you telling me that's jikta? Because it is holding to a person. It is holding to a person as self-existent. Now, somebody, because we're running out of time, because Geshe Michael talks too much. Somebody tell me why it's not jikta.
Because it's somebody else. It's not me.
Yeah, good, good. If Joe was holding that Joe is self-existent, it's jikta. But Joe's holding that John's self-existent. That's not jikta, and it's not the wheel of life. It's not the first link of the wheel of life. That's the point here. It's very cool. What I want to make out of you guys is super teachers. You could be a DCI teacher and not know this. You can do it. You can be a DCI teacher for 20 years and never talk about this. But if you know it and you give a DCI talk, how cool is that? You know?
Very subtle.
Yeah, it is cool. You know? You want to talk about wheel of life? Yeah, but it's only about you. It's not other people. Yeah, yeah. The first link of the wheel of life is always aimed at me. You see? It's cool. When John looks at Joe and thinks he's coming from his own side, that's not the first link of the wheel of life. Cool? That's what you're learning from this debate. It's very cool. Then what kind of a super teacher does that make you? If you've got that in the back here when you're talking about the pen, but it's not really the pen because the pen's a thing. We're talking about Sugang looking at Sugang. Okay? Like in your mind, you got this going in your mind, so when you teach it, it's more subtle. You know, you can be a better teacher.
So like this, what do you call it, legend? The
Say again?
Devadatta? How
Oh,
do you say that?
Devadatta? Yeah, legend.
Legend. The one we should put a footnote or we just use John Doe and we just forget about Devadatta at all?
It's up to you. How much, you can overwhelm your reader where the footnote's more than the book. Depends on how smart you want to look. Okay, let's go one more sentence. Now, dare tell. Let's talk about dare tell. Let's just go 5 minutes over, okay?
Oh, yeah, no, you have till
8:30.
30.
Oh, God bless.
Half hour, right?
Oh, let's keep going. Okay, now, somebody explain two kinds of dare tells to me.
They are pal
Yeah,
Der Tao.
yeah.
So
Now,
der Tao is negating.
yeah, der Tao means I believe it.
Oh, believe. Oh, okay.
It is so. And der Tao.
Is negative.
Listen, again, are you saying it's sarcastic? You know, are you saying that that's the first thing? Come on. Is that what you're saying? That's the sarcastic one. Go down.
Go down.
Der Tao means, of course it is. Sure it is. Okay? So it's very delicate because you cannot tell from the,
From the
you can only tell from the context. You cannot tell from the words. Okay? You're going to go up or down. Take your time. We just gave a counterexample.
Yes, so
All drinks are coffee.
yes.
Oh, let's talk about this green drink here.
Should be up. No.
Up means you believe it.
Yeah.
Okay, are you telling me that's coffee? Okay, it's going down. Der Tao. Der Tao.
Oh, okay.
Der Tao.
Der
Oh,
Tao.
you telling me that's coffee? That's coffee, right? You know, it's like some sarcastic thing. The guy's already getting nervous. You're like, from the look on your face. Oh, that's coffee, huh? Okay, got it?
Okay.
Der Tao.
Der Tao.
But what's it mean here?
Here it means, I guess you're saying that the self-standing, substantial self, seeing things, a self that way would be Jigta.
I guess you're saying seeing this other guy. Oh,
Okay, if when you stretch it out, when you spell it out, it's got to end with Yimba Tao. Yimba Tao. So this counterexample must be,
Jigta.
yeah, good. Jigta, Yimba Tao. Der Tao here means, der Tao means here. Here it means, oh, Jigta Yimba Tao. That must be the destruction view. Why is it called destruction view? Why do they call the first thing destruction view? Anybody give me?
Because you believe in the.
There's two opinions on this question in classic literature.
Because you believe in the parts of yourself that are breaking down constantly?
Yeah, first of all, you will die. So this view is always looking at something destructible. It's going to be destroyed. That's one opinion of what Jigta means here.
But it destroys you too.
That's-
The view itself destroys you.
That's true. Then I never saw it explained that way.
So there's three.
But the Tawa itself is
Destructive.
no.
It also will end when you.
Yeah, you can destroy this view.
Yeah.
You can kill link number one.
Yeah.
So different scholars explain this two different ways. Some people say destructible view because it's looking at me who's made of destructible parts. I'm impermanent. But the other viewpoint is that no. It's not the view of the destructible thing, it's the view which will be destroyed. The full form is Jigtsokla Tawa, which looks upon the destructible assembly.
And it's the destructive view, right? I mean, that's.
It is, but I've never seen it explained that way.
No?
Yeah, it does cause the destruction of the body. If you didn't have it, you would
I mean,
not.
if you destroy it, then.
Yeah, you're free. Yeah. So sometimes the full form of Jigta is Jigtsokla Tawa, which means the view of the perishable assembly. There's probably some sexy Sanskrit. You want to look it up for us? Just to impress Santosh. I'm trying to impress him. Okay. I want him to think we're really smart. It's, what is sok? In Sanskrit, kaya, maybe, or sangha, or something like that.
So, Gana, maybe?
What?
Like Gana
What are we
chakra?
looking at?
Jigtsokla Tawa.
Like Gana, it could be Gana, like Gana chakra?
That's possible, Gana, yeah. Yeah, today is Gana Chakra Day, by the way. Anyway, okay. Are you telling me that's link number one? Sarcastic, right? Why is it sarcastic? Because it can't be link number one. Why?
Because of
Because Demigoddess is not looking at,
not look at himself.
good, he's looking at yajna. Okay, got it?
So dare tell day cheer, the two days refer to.
Yeah, day cheer means, oh, you telling me that's link number one? Because it is,
Kansaki Danten.
oh, right, it is, somebody is holding to a person as self-existent. Somebody is holding to a person as self-existent. Your first statement was, anytime someone holds to a person as self-existence, that must be the first link. And then we said, okay, well, what if you're looking at another person and holding them as self-existent? Is that the first link? We're sarcastic. Oh, is that the first link? Because it is. Because when John looks at Joe and thinks he's self-existent, he is holding to another person. He is holding to a person. Okay, so it's not precise enough. You can't define the first link as holding that another person is self-existent, holding that the person is self-existent, because it's only your person. Got it? Or mine.
Okay. Wow.
And that text just says it's that because it's that.
So Dertel means, this Dertel means, are you telling me it's the first link? Because it is a case of a person holding to a person as self-existent. Why? Then in between here, the other guy always says, well, why you say that? I always say, because it's exactly what you just said it was. It's a kind of holding, Zin, to a self, nature, Atman, of a person, which is, mikpa means focused on. This mikpa as a verb. Somebody tell me the difference in accent. Rare difference in accent.
Mikpa. Doesn't one go up?
Mikpa. Or mikpa. So this is the only time in Tibetan where we get some kind of Chinese tones going on. And
Spelled the
okay,
same.
and spelled exactly the same.
Oh no.
It's contextual.
Wow.
Okay, the verb is mikpa, to focus. Mikpa means the object of focus. Mikme tse we te chen chen we se, no mikpa, no object. We don't say mikme, okay. Although most foreigners do.
I guess I
Okay.
found that Sanskrit.
Okay,
Sakya Drishti. Satkaya Drishti.
oh good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this kaya means group.
Oh, like body?
Yeah, yeah, the body of the troops or something. Okay, so sat,
Truth.
destructible? I don't think so. You sure you got the right one?
This is what Locust Chandra says.
Okay. Oh well, let's not worry about it. Santoshi's not too impressed now. Okay. Chujin la because I did that in Chite. Now, sorry, did you have a question?
Yeah, where did you get the case that? Because
Sorry?
because it is the case that. Is that wrapped up in cheer?
Day.
Day.
This day.
Col-
Day is a colon. Okay. And we'll work on the translation. Don't stress. Write something and I'll tear it up.
Sure.
Okay. Now, Tsawon Dena. Heavy prenasal here. Somebody show me. Yeah, good. Louder. Okay, hear it? We don't say Tsawar De. We say Tsawon De. Okay. This apostrophe, which is an owl, right here, it changes the sound. I'll give $10 to anyone who can tell me what de means without the apostrophe. $20, $30.
As we look dumb. It's cool enough.
It's a hard word.
Not desire.
It means it's a special idiom for the Sanskrit equivalent of a Tibetan word.
Oh.
De.
Oh.
Like the de for Kansak is Atman. Okay. It also means substitute, but that's even more rare. So things you won't remember later by the third day of this term. Okay, so anyway, de, that's why you need the to pronounce it correctly. De. De. Yeah. So tsawar dena. One of the most famous RN combinations is, that's a $5 question.
RN?
No, I'm sorry. That's not an RN, it's LN. Nelmjor, which means yoga. Okay. Accurate joining. Applying yourself accurately. Nel dun jonwa is the Tibetan word for yoga. Okay, practice, spiritual practice in that case. Okay, anyway, tsawon dana means if you agree to the tsawa. Tsawa means my basic position, my basic claim. Now you have to go back and find the tsawa. You have to go back in the argument and find the tsawa. Who can do it for me?
I don't know if we have this version of the text. Oh.
Say again?
He's just broken it up.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
I broke it up for you, yeah. I broke up the sentences for you. Saved you some time. I agree. That is an example of the,
Kasaki Anka.
no, of Jikta.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, I see. He's
Okay, now he goes back and he says, now I agree. It is.
So we're doing.
Cha-
It is the first link. When Joe looks at John and thinks he's self-existent, that is the first link.
Okay.
So this is the interesting part because now we have to prove to him it's not the first link. So he just agreed, yeah, okay, that's the first link.
That is
That's-
indicated by the Chawa.
Yeah, Tsawa means the counterexample you gave, I agree.
Okay.
He shouldn't because it's suicide, but he did. That means he's in trouble already and he's just grasping at straw. He's just trying to say something. He's embarrassed, his mom came to the debates. He's like, okay, I agree. Then I agree. So now we're going to say a tell to him. We don't know yet
Okay.
if it's sarcastic. What do you guess? Just guess, He just said, oh yeah, I agree to your ridiculous statement. I agree that when Joe looks at John, it's the first link. I agree.
Okay.
What should our next statement be sarcastic or not?
Should be sarcastic.
Yeah, should be sarcastic. Okay. Oh, excuse me. So when Joe looks at John and believes he's self-existent, he's looking at himself, right? That's what it says.
Okay.
Now we'll work out the sentence, but he's saying, oh, when Joe looks at John and thinks he's self-existent, Joe is looking at Joe, right? Okay, got it?
Okay. Yeah,
Top.
yeah.
Now let's go find the words.
Okay.
Okay. Rangyu, meaning in his own person, which possessed the person. Okay. Rangyu la dembe kansaki gyuki. Kansaki gyuki pumbo. Kansaki gyuki pumbo. This is the piece we want to do first, okay? Kansa means the person. Gyu means their mind, or their being, here, their being. Pumbo. Skanda. The parts of a person. Okay. You can say heaps among friends. If the book is meant for normal people, you might want to say parts. But in Buddhism, the parts of a person are called heaps. What's the most common expression in English for the parts of a person?
mind, body.
Yeah, mind and body. Okay, so they just had a mind and body conference, mind-body conference. That's how Americans, that's how English speakers say the heaps. They say mind and body. It's supposed to be everything about a person. There's nothing that's not mind or body. Okay. In Buddhism, we always have 5 parts. We don't have 2. Why?
Because discrimination and feeling are the most problematic, so they include it into.
Nice. Korwe gyuchir rim gyuchir pumbo namle sorwadang dushe loshi pumbo shat. Wow, 1980. Yeah. We add extra parts when we just say mind and body in Buddhism, because 2 of the parts cause all the trouble in the world, which is feeling and discrimination. I like him, he's my race, or he's my language, or he's my religion. These are the 2 troublemakers. So Buddha didn't teach mind and body. He said mind, body, and your 2 troublemakers. No, and everything else. He made a 3rd category called everything else. That's another, don't worry about that. Okay, so Kansaki Gigi Pumbo, the parts in the being of a person which are possessed in his own being. Okay, it's just a complicated way of saying himself. Okay, the parts in the being of a person which are possessed within his own being. Okay, got it? Basically think of it this way. Oh, so he's looking at the self in his me. Oh, so he's looking at the self in his me.
Oh, I see.
Okay, got it?
Oh.
So he's looking at the
It
self
should sound weird.
in his me. Okay?
Yeah.
Shikla, he's looking at something like that, right? Mikbatao.
Cool.
Mikbatao, verb.
Cool.
Oh, he must be focusing. That When John looks at Joe, he must be focusing
Parts of
on,
himself.
yeah, the parts to a person which are included in himself. Okay, got it?
Yeah.
Now, when you get to translating it a week from now, that's your problem.
Can you simplify it to something, or would you simplify it to something like he's looking at part of himself, or would you try to keep
No.
it more true to himself?
No, not in a philosophical text. I wouldn't simplify it. If I was going to teach this in Singapore in a public talk, I would simplify it. But if I wanted it to live forever in a series of books like that, I would stick to the. It's complex, and there's a reason for it. If you change one of those words, it'll be wrong. Okay, Mibatal. Then in between mikbatal and de, what's the guy say? Because there's two possible answers.
Yes or no or why?
Oh, duh, it says duh.
No.
Are you telling me he's looking at himself? What's the other guy going to
Oh,
say?
you're right.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Why the
would you say
you
Why
say
you
that?
say
Yeah, yeah.
Why you say that, man?
Uh-huh.
Why you say that? Cheech here. Say cheech here. Why you say that, man? What are you talking about? Okay, cheech here. Cheech here. It's understood. Okay, in between those two. Now in a debate text, as we're learning, there's unspoken replies going on, and we have to add them in the translation. He says, "Why do you say that?" And we say, "Debate here."
Because that's what you said.
Because you agreed. You agreed that when Joe looks at John and thinks he's self-existent, that's the first link. You already agreed. Okay? Then he says, well, you know what? Okay, I agree. He's looking at himself when he looks at John. You know what? Duh. Now he says duh again. Okay? He says he's desperate. He's just desperate. His mom is there. His dad just showed up. He's got to impress them. He's like, yeah, okay. Okay, I agree. When John looks at Joe and holds he's self-existent, he's holding himself to be self-existent. I agree. They would say deminite.
To agree to that,
What's nipa?
able?
Yeah. You can't agree to that.
Demi.
Okay. Minu means you cannot. You cannot. Not possible. No, you cannot. Minus. It's pronounced nu. Minu. You can't agree to that. Chichindi mecha. We're talking about somebody looking at somebody else. That was my example. That was my example. Did you forget the example? The example was somebody looking at somebody else. How can you say it's somebody looking at himself? Okay, dominate, you can't agree to that. Come on. We were talking about, it's the example we chose. It's the example I just gave you. Did you forget? Then now the guy's really embarrassed. Okay, that's a debate. That's a finished debate. Now, when you teach it in Thailand, when you teach your book in Thailand, right, then you've got to have the ability to summarize it for your audience. You see, you got to say, what did we learn from this debate? The debate's finished. We're just going on to another one. Okay. Now, what did we learn from that? What would you say? I mean, it's kind of early to ask you the question.
I would say that the first guy idea was that as long as someone is looking at himself and the part of him, part of that person, it's the first link.
Good, nice. Yeah.
So what we learned here is that it has to be towards himself rather
Yeah.
than to the other
Yeah,
person.
nice.
Yeah.
Good. If something is the first link in the wheel of life, it's always aimed at yourself.
And it
You always misunderstanding. Sugang is misunderstanding Sugang. Utpala is misunderstanding Utpala. And that relates to a famous question I got in my Gesh exam. Do you remember? I think it was the guy in the video who's asking me a question that Adam cut it out. Do you know what that, I almost called him a bad word. Do you know what that fellow is asking me? It has to do with your first perception of emptiness.
Oh, are you seeing yourself?
Yeah.
Your
Your first perception of emptiness directly is always aimed at yourself. Sugang is not who I thought he was.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the 5 parts of a person, is there another saying that the world is part of you?
Yeah, no, don't go there. You're going to confuse everything. That's a sexy argument. You want to go there? I mean, you can ask your audience in Thailand. So it's not the first link because it's not aimed at
himself,
or
Your
me or
me or
Mine.
my part.
me or mine.
Yeah.
You see, me or mine.
Yeah.
It's not the first link because it's not aimed at
Me.
me or mine.
Mm-hmm.
But for Devadatta, isn't yajna part of his mind?
The other party.
Because there's an explanation of the 5 heaps that says that the first heap, physical form, includes the world around you.
Okay. Wow.
So
Okay.
there is a-
Yeah, you could go on a heavy debate here.
Oh my gosh.
You could say, so yajna
So it's part of the
so
world.
yajna is not part of his skanda, his form skanda, rupa skanda. He is. So yajna's body
Yeah, so based on
is
this
part of the...
argument, then it should
Yeah,
be-
yeah,
it
yeah.
should fall into
Yeah,
the
you can
first-
fight this
Oh,
guy.
God.
You can fight this guy. Like, if your audience isn't confused yet,
Yeah.
then throw that in.
In the school,
Now in this school, I don't know.
Sure.
I think so.
Sure.
I think it's even a lower Abhidharma thing. So if it's an Abhidharma thing, it's probably accepted by the, you know.
One question.
Mhm.
So when we really teach them teach these materials in the retreats,
Yeah.
but shall we teach them or discuss how can we apply it with their life? Because what are they going to do with it?
Yeah, that's why 6,000-7,000 people came to DCI last week,
Yeah.
and 10 people come to this class. Okay, because we relate it to their real life. Yeah, so of course,
So how can we?
when you teach this, that's his problem. He has to think about it. You know.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I believe you can say, if you want a cool answer, the reason Seji's text goes into Marmahatta, the killing point, is that the killing point in that text is
The applications.
Oh. I think, is this it?
in the Crown of Knives. What's in a Lojong text? What's the killing point? No. What do you want to kill?
Their affliction.
Selfishness.
Selfishness. Selfishness is the Marmahatta. The whole Crown of Knives text is aimed at Stanley's selfishness, Michael's selfishness, Word's selfishness. So if I was going to take this, if I'm in Thailand and I'm Sugang and I'm explaining this to people, I will jump on selfishness because that's the Marmahatta. Marma means death, like mortuary, murder comes from that. Hatha means hun, comes from the Sanskrit root hun, which is where gun comes from. Marmahatta means shoot the killing point. Shoot at the killing point. What is it? I take care of myself first. I take care of Sugang first. I'm taking care of number one. In English, in American English, we say, taking care of number one. I'm taking care of number one. It means me. So you can, so the answer to Allison's question, you could go off on the key point to kill in your spiritual practice is the tendency to take care of yourself first. That's the Marmahatta. You know, kill it. Go for that. You know, don't go for your, I can't meditate well. Forget that. You serve yourself coffee first and then you serve Stanley coffee. That's your problem. Kill that. You know, the first link in the wheel of life isn't about John thinking something about Joe. It's something John thinking about John. Like, wow, you can hit that. Okay, that's where I would take it.
Thank you.
Kachignare, Jita Zengi Miyu, you know? Children Kansa, Nisu Cherry Kansa, you be kept, Serna. Okay. Now, there's a cool philosophical idiom in here that you guys should learn. Kachignare means, of course, somebody comes up and says, some guy comes. Serna at the end means he says, but it's really he claims. He makes this claim. That's why when we translated your text so far, we were using he claims or he makes the claim. So ser, a very popular word used by Vasubandhu when he's reporting the beliefs of the Abhidharma school. He keeps saying, ser, they say. Okay, claims. Now, somebody tell me, Kyap, what? There's going to be two elements, and one is always going to imply the others. If something is a Chevrolet, it's a car. If something is an automobile, it's a car. Equal sets or subset, going up. Okay, Kyab always means that. Equal set, car and automobile. Or subset, Chevrolet, Toyota and car. Okay, so there's always going to be, with a cup there's going to be two things. He says there's a relationship like that. We say no. Now, what are the two things? I want you to learn this philosophical idiom, especially people like Ben Kramer and Nick. I'm assuming Word already memorized it. And they may not know what it means. I don't know. Nisu chewe. Nisu chewe. Okay? Nisu chewe. This chewa means to divide. And this is the point, okay? The word kansak by itself means one thing. But in the dual division into person and parts, it means a different thing.
Oh wow, cool.
You see what I mean? So in the dual presentation or in the tripartite presentation, you see, in the person means one thing when you say it by itself. But when you're talking about the tendency to hold the person or the parts, then person means a different thing. Okay? So person generally means one thing. Person in the presentation of holding to the person or holding to the parts means a different thing. Especially I would have gone for the things myself, because that's more radical. Okay? Now, I'll explain. Things means everything that exists. Things. But when I say person and things, the self-existence of person and things, in that case, things means what?
The parts.
Yeah, the parts, exactly. Good. So when I just say things, what comes in your mind should be everything in the universe. When I say things, but as a division into person and things.
It's a part
Okay.
of the person.
Yeah. So this Nisuchewa is a philosophical term that means in the classic division. In the classic division into these two.
I see.
Okay. So let's talk about, but he chose person. I would have chose things, but it's okay. Let's talk about person in the classic division between things and person. Okay.
So is focused on
Migyu,
the thing you see.
It's the object. That
yeah, the object which you are focused on. Mikbe yu. Okay. The object which you are focused on. When you have jikta, now we get a new idea. Senke. Say senke.
Thank you.
Somebody explain it.
Spontaneous or simultaneous?
Oh right.
Oh,
As opposed to kuntak.
Oh,
Inborn.
Yeah, senke means inborn. What you were born with. You came out of your mom with it.
Oh, thank you.
That's believing in the self-existence of the pen
Is in
that you were born with. Okay, that's called senke. Sujata. Sujata comes with your birth. No, anyway. And then the other one is kuntak. That's one that you learn later in your life. Bad habit. It's called bad habit self-existence. Okay. Someone teaches you, gives you a wrong teaching on emptiness. Oh, emptiness means everything's black. Then you get this. You develop a wrong idea because someone taught you something mistaken. It's not that you came out of your mom and said everything's black. Someone told you a wrong idea of shunyata. Oh, close your eyes, everything's black. That's kuntak. That's a learned bad habit. And senge, I think it's sajjata, is inborn. It's sama. Sahajata. Yeah, sahaja. Saha means together. Okay. Sahaja. Inborn. Now, he's saying, we got one more minute? Well, you can chew on it till your next session, but I'll give you a clue. A, we know he's correct or incorrect? He's wrong. He's always wrong. Okay. Same as your wife in an argument. Okay. Serena means she said, or he said. Okay. So you know there's a mistake here somewhere, and you got to think about where it is. He said, if you take that tendency that you are born with to believe that Sugang or Sugang's things are self-existent, if you take that tendency, which he's born with, okay, then the object it focuses on must be the person as opposed to the things of the person. the object of that bad habit, link number one, blind man, which he's born with, okay, which is link number one. And if you say you have a choice, person, sugang or sugang's things, sugang or sugang's things, it must always be focused on sugang and never on sugang's things. True or false?
According to this, is false.
No, well, he believes it, but we know it's wrong because, come on, this is easy.
Oh.
I, me, mine. The mind. The mind. Okay? The first link can be focused on mine. My wife, my house, my kids. Okay? Can be. Can be. He said no. In the classic division between person and things, it's always focused on person. Got it? Understand? So, what's the counterexample going to be? Just tell me without looking. What could a counterexample be? Then I'll let you go. Yeah, your hand.
Okay, the body parts.
Or if you go more radically, your kids.
Mind. Oh, kids.
Something outside of you, right? What's in mind? Okay.
You can say that things is the thought of person.
Say again?
Things is the thought of person.
Yeah, you can say that. The thoughts of a person is part of me. It's mine. I have my thoughts. And my thoughts are correct and yours are not. Now, I just want to tell you the next word in case I die in a car accident. Because I love it. Somebody tell me what ki means.
Dog.
Yeah, dog, nice.
Oh,
Dog.
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 D-O-G.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ko. Ko.
Go.
Ko.
Okay, go.
Gen means old. By the way, this is the spelling of gen as used as a respectful word for a teacher. In Chinese, you might say lao shi or something. In Tibetan, you say genla. Genla. Gen means elder one.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like lao shi in Chinese. It's like gen. So, close students don't call their teacher geshe-la or something like that. They say gen. But super close students can't use it. Like someone who's my student, say I'm see once a year or something, they don't call me gen. People I hang out with call me gen. You say gen, and la, you say gen la. La, honor. Yeah.
Genla is the respect form.
If you're pissed off, you say gen. If you're serving a tea and you want to be nice, other people are watching, you say gen la. You know? That's exactly the division. Okay. Now, gao.
Beard.
Gao means whiskers.
Yeah.
He doesn't quite have gao, he has gao.
Yeah.
Gao means like straggly whiskers, like those guys. Okay? Like probably Gracie has something. Yeah. Little. So it's a very famous, funny example in a debate. Kigen gao chuchen. Let's take an old dog with some beard. Take an old whiskered dog. It means the other guy said something stupid. I mean, you can look at a dog and understand you're wrong. You know, we don't even have to take Devadatta or Yajna. Just take any old dog. Any old dog. Okay, kigen gao. But it's really cute. Like, you have to come up with a good English.
Okay.
It means an old dog with whiskers. Not just a beard, okay? It's like, like that. Okay, number shepa. Yiki number shepa.
It's a consciousness of this.
Yeah, consciousness of his mind. Consciousness of his thoughts. You see, as opposed to consciousness of his eye. There's eye consciousness. You're conscious of what you're seeing. This is not. This is just consciousness of your thoughts. Okay? Sometimes for you can say thoughts. Manas. Okay. Shepa che. Okay. So he took, what did he take? What's his counterexample? Me or mine?
Your.
Yeah, mine. Who's mine?
The dog's the old.
Yeah, the old dog. The old mangy dog. Old mangy dog. I sometimes need to translate it.
Seems like a funny, is this gonna? It's meant to be a funny example. It feels
It's
like
meant to be funny. Yeah.
it feels like it, right?
He said, come on, you're what you said is so stupid. I'm just going to answer you with a dog, okay? We're going to talk about a dog. What you said is so ridiculous. Let's just talk about a dog, okay? Can you understand dog? Yeah, it's like criticizing the other guy, okay? We won't take any philosophy thing. Forget Devadatta, forget Yajna. Let's just talk about an old ugly dog, okay? Now the rest of it you're gonna work on. We'll talk about it later, okay? So now what I do personally, I put $3 signs where I stopped, because $3 signs never come in a text. Okay, all right. You want to do a mandala or Shinten? How about you okay, Sashi? Puki Joshi Meto Jam Rira Lingshi Yende Kembadi Sangye Shingdu Mikte Uargi Dokun Namda Shingla Juparsho Iram Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniyatayami Dige Okun Sanam Yeshe Tsotsok Shing Sanam Yeshe Lechungwe Tampa Kuni Toparsho. Okay, cool. Why do we study Wheel of Life from Lower Middle Way? Anybody guess? Why do we study Wheel of Life from Lower Middle Way? Why do we bother with the Lower Middle Way? Why don't we go straight to the Higher Middle Way? Why is it traditional to study it from the Lower Middle Way? It's taught in a Perfection of Wisdom text. Give me the right one. Yeah, Maitreya's, what Maitreya taught to his Sangha is lower middle way. And it has a single line about the Wheel of Life. And from that came a whole literature, came hundreds of books from a single line. Don't ask me the single line. No, it's at the top of your text.
It'll be in a footnote.
No, it's at the top of your text here. Yeah, Tenching Del Jung Luktung Dan Lumi Tumba Toberje. 2 lines. 1 line in Sanskrit. It's this one. You must come to grasp how things happen in dependence, both in their forward order and their reverse. What's reverse mean? Good. Lung Jung Lung Do. But what's it mean?
You start with the result.
Yeah, how you shut it down. How you shut this machine down. Cool. All right, take a break.